Welcome future developers in lesson 4. Today we are going to talk about conditional statements, about decision making in your game. Common way how to handle conditions in many programming languages is if. If the statement is true, then something going to happen. For instance, my player has a certain amount of health and I'm going to check if the player is doing well. Our if has a sibling, else. So there is a branch following if the statement is true, but there might be another one if the statement is false. If a health amount of my player is bigger than something, it's probably alright. But if it's not, if it's 0 or even negative for some reason, well, then the player probably flatlined. You can also mix these two and introduce more branches. In this particular branch, something should happen, in another one, something else. For this, you can use elif, else if. Let's say you want to do something if the player health is greater than 75, or if it's somewhere between 25 and 75, less than 25. You can also combine the conditional statements together in nested structures. For instance, you are not interested in player health unless the player is in the combat. So you can check, is player in the combat? If yes, let's ask about its health. And if it isn't, we can ask something different. Frequently, you can combine more of these conditions together using logical operators. If you have two conditions and you want them both be true, use AND. The player should hold the key and also have a strength above some value for something to happen. If you need only one of these conditions to be true, use OR. It's alright, still, both can be true, but it is not required. One is enough. In a game language, you might have a key or you might be strong enough to kick through the door. And because we know how to print text, how to ask user for an input, we know about variables, we know about data types, about the operators, and now about conditional statements, we can write adventure video game. Text-based, for now. And as before, you can see complete code here. I'm going to run it and show you what is it about. So enter a character's name. Let's go as usual. Welcome Pavel, your adventure begins. You come across a fork in the road. Do you go left or right? I wanna go left. You find a treasure chest. Do you want to open it? You found 50 gold pieces. Nice. You continue your journey and find a dark cave. Do you want to enter the cave? Prefer not to. You decide not to enter the cave and continue your journey safely. And this is the end. Adventure summary for Pavel. Health 100. Gold 100. We started with 50. Equipment none. Congratulations! You've become wealthy in your adventure. Let's dissect the code. Here are the starting variables with some predefined values, but the player name which is going to be specified by user. We are going to start with 100 health, 50 golds, and without the sword. Actually, maybe we can run it and comment the code along. Enter your character name. Pavel. So, welcome Pavel, your adventure begins. This is this. You can see print, fprint, with inserted player name variable, where the player name is specified by user using input function. We didn't talk about it yet. Lines which begins with hash symbol are skipped by Python. We call them comments, and they are there just to help us to improve orientation in the code. You come across a fork in the road. Do you go left or right? Here is the print, and here is the decision. We are asking user for the input and using lower function for it. This is a little trick. If you work with user input, especially talking about words, some users might type first letter as a capital or all letters capital, right? I can write something like, and that would be a problem because later we are asking for left and specifically left for this exact string. We need to guarantee that this, or I don't know, even something like this, will be understood as the same thing. Whatever I write is going to be converted to lowercase only due to the lower function. The user choice is saved in decision variable. And now I'm asking, if the decision is left, we're gonna continue with this branch. If it's right, I can use elif, else if. We're gonna continue here. And if it is anything else, we're gonna have one player and we can decrease his health. Because Why not? I chose left before, so I'm going for right. I will write it in this weird way. And you can see it works, because whatever I wrote is going to be lowercase. So we are here. You encounter a merchant. That already happened. Do you want to buy a sword for 40 golds? Yes? No. I'm going to buy a sword. I chose yes. My answer is stored to buy sword variable, and if buy sword is yes, and I have at least 40 golds, my amount of gold is going to be decreased by 40, and my variable from the start, player has sword, is not false anymore, it's true, because I have the sword. I'm gonna inform the player, you bought a shiny new sword, and that's about it. If I don't have enough gold, which really cannot happen in this phase of a game, but you know, when you are making your own game, you should really consider all options. I'm gonna print, you don't have enough gold. And if for buy sword, I write anything else than yes, I'm just going to assume that the player don't want to buy the sword, so you decide not to buy the sword. And nothing is gonna happen. And now we have the second decision. You continue your journey and find a dark cave, right? That's here. Do you want to enter the cave? Yes or no? Last time I chose no, so let's go for yes. You enter the cave and encounter a dragon. And now I'm asking, do I have the sword? If yes, you use your sword to fight the dragon and emerge victorious. And that's exactly what happened, because I do have a sword, I bought it before. The player is going to receive reward, which is 100 golds, and we're gonna write a message. You find 100 gold in the dragon's lair. If I don't have a sword, this is this branch. Without a weapon, you are forced to free, use 50 health. And we are going to decrease 50 from player's health. You might notice these symbols, plus equal or minus equal. This is the same as I would write player gold is equal player gold plus 100. These two lines are equivalent, means the same. We prefer to use this one because you know it's shorter. And finally, we have our summary. Adventure summary for Pavel. Health 100. That's good. Gold 110. As a recap, we started with 50. We bought sword for 40, so we have 10. And we found 100 at Dragon's Lair. Thus, 110. Equipment sword. In other case, equipment none. And here is our health. If we have less than 0, game over. Your health reached 0. If we have more than 100 gold, congratulations, you became wealthy in your adventure. Which happened. And if neither of these conditions is true, well, at least you survived the adventure. Well done. Don't forget that you can take this as a template, and you should take it as a template. Extend it as much as you want. Add more decisions. You can even connect the decisions together and make quite interesting stories. You can tune the numbers, you can tune the math. And if you want to share your creation, I cannot wait to see it. And that's really all for today. I guess you can see that our projects are getting more and more complicated with more and more things, but it should be still understandable if you are taking the lesson step by step. If you have any question, just don't hesitate to drop a comment. If you like what you see and if you want to see more in the future, hit the subscribe button, and see you next time with lesson 5.